Good morning, my loves. My name is Deborah Smith, and each day this week I am going to go live. Today is Middleman. Oh, let's get that light out of the way. Today is Middleman Monday. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the middleman strategy really quick, how you can execute contracts without directly doing the work. And we touched on this topic before, but each day this week it's going to be a different topic. Tomorrow will be Teachable Tuesday. So let's start with the middleman strategy. Okay, the middleman strategy is a way to win government contracts without directly doing the work. Reaching out to a local company for a product or a service. If there is a bid that is open for lawn care services, we're going to use that as an example. What you're going to do is your company does not provide lawn services, but you want to bid on a lawn service contract. So, what do? You utilize the middleman strategy. Okay. You are going to reach out to local companies in that area, at least 3 to 5 companies that can give you quotes based off the scope of work on the bid. Each bid has the scope of work asking you what to do, what products they're looking for, you know, are they looking for lowest price, things like that. So you're going to reach out to a local company because you do not offer lawn services yourself. That is the middleman strategy. When you're reaching out to a local company and you're asking them, you're sharing the scope of work with them. What you're going to do is let them know that everything that is on the scope of work, you're going to give them all that information. They're going to come back. Oh my god, I lost the earring. Hold on. they're um they're going to come back and they're going to ask you um what the situation is, what services you're looking for, time, place, how often they need to show up. All of this information needs to be shared with the subcontractor. Okay, so they can give you an appropriate price. Once you get a price from the subcontractor, you can add your own margin between 10, 15, 20%. You don't want to get out of control because you do have other people, companies who are bidding, and it can be very competitive. So you don't want to get a subcontractor to give you a price and then add a 50% margin. In some cases, you can, but in most cases, you want to be careful because you don't want to overbid the project and then potentially not win. Okay, so what you're doing is the middleman strategy is reaching out to a local company, getting 3 to 5 prices, and make sure you do your research on these companies, making sure they're legit, they have good reviews. Um, and once you do that and get your price and add your margin, then you are going to go ahead and submit your bid. I want to be very clear that you do not have to have money to start in government contracting. There are net 30 terms that you can utilize. You can get a company to trust you, just based off of having a conversation, being humble, being real, explaining to them what the situation is. Hey, the county is looking for a service, wondering if you can help us out and we can collaborate together. The middleman strategy is about collaboration and connection. So think of those 2 C's when you're thinking of the middleman strategy, please. Don't try to utilize a company just for a price and then treat them poorly. Because this same company, if you win the contract, you have to go back and collaborate with that company, and they're going to be the ones to show up on site and fulfill the work. Do you have to be on site? No. I am in New York State. Could I look at a Florida bid and reach out to Florida companies who offer lawn services? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I have to hop on a plane and go down to Florida? No. Your subcontractor is going to do that for you. You are just playing the middle, the connection. Okay. This is very important to understand because it can help you strategically win. If you ever come across a situation where you need some kind of down payment, companies will ask. That's where your sales skills will come in a little bit and your research as well. You can use factoring companies. You can use net 30. If you have a company of your own, you can allocate the funds, set them aside just for government contracts. And then 30 days from now, most agencies in the government pay between 21 and 30 days. And the government is the biggest purchaser. Do they always pay on time? 90% yes. But you want to make sure that you're in communication to make sure that you are getting paid how you should be and you're on top of the contract. If you let it go and you don't process invoices properly or paperwork is delayed, that will delay your payment. So now let's talk about how to find subcontractors. Your number one tool, Google. Google is your number one tool. You're going to go into Google and you're going to say, hey, I'm looking for lawn care services in Leesburg, Florida. Every single lawn care service, you know how Google works, is going to pop up in that area. Those are the subcontractors that you're going to call and explain. If you need a script, go on Chat GPT and say, prompt Chat GPT and say, I need a script to talk about boop, 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 or, whatever you need to prompt on Chat GPT, it can help you with a script to call these companies, reach out and get a price. Now, this can take a couple days to do because you have to be considerate that the subcontractor needs to put together your scope of work, look at their pricing, their maintenance, their labor. So it takes a little bit of patience. And a lot of the times bids are open for a long time, anywhere between 7 and 30 days. Some bids are open for longer. Each government contract has a deadline. So keep that in mind as well. So Google is your number one tool that you're going to use to find subcontractors in the area that you are bidding in. If you're bidding in Texas and it's a lawn care service, go on Google and type in lawn care services in Dallas, Texas. And everyone is going to pop up because just like in, your normal life, we utilize Google a lot. So utilize it for your subcontractors. That's how you're going to find them. Look at their websites. Look at their testimonials, look at their reviews. What kind of company are they? You don't want to work with a company who can potentially put you in a bad spot because even though you subcontracted the work, you are still liable for that contract. I don't care who you give it to. If it was one under DD Logistics, I am responsible. Even though I subcontracted the work to J&M Lawn Care Services, the government still relies on me to get the job done and stay in communication with them. Okay. And that's very important too. Just because you want a contract, you cannot hand it off to your subcontractor and just say, hey, get this done. That is not how it works. You still have to execute. Okay. And then where to find contracts that are perfect for the middleman strategy. For me, I believe it is services. Services as in catering, lawn care services, just any kind of service that you can think of, training, courses, sending someone into a nursing home to help with clients. Those are all services. Products are different. That's like toilet paper, food for the prisons, sports equipment, UTVs, ATVs. Those are product bids. You want to focus on service bids for middleman contracts because that's how you get the net 30. Okay. When you are providing a service, the middleman strategy, you combine that with the service and you mix the two. And with products, you can middleman. So don't get me wrong. You can middleman with a product bid, but you just want to be careful. That's all I'm saying is services are a better connection for you to win with the middleman strategy. Okay, the lawn care service is going to come in. They're going to do all the work. Do they need to mow the lawn 2 times a week? They need to know all that information. Do they need to mow the lawn 3 times a week? Do they have to have PPE? Do they have to have logos on their, shirt? Do they have to have a tag? Is it a drug-free environment? These are all things that you're going to talk to the lawn care service about, okay? And tomorrow we're going to talk about another. So each day this week, I'll be doing a different topic. And this is very important, because when you are utilizing this strategy, and the only reason why I'm bringing it to you, 1, I don't gatekeep, and 2, I know that it works. Okay, I have done it in my own company. I know that it works. I am in the transportation industry. Government spends at least 25 million plus. I believe more. I think it's actually in the billions that they spend on transportation. Now, that is a very large amount. Okay. But because I am a logistics company does not mean I have to bid on a logistics bid, a 3PL bid, a trucking bid, a moving bid. That is not the case. Okay. You can utilize the middleman strategy and be extremely successful. Don't let anyone tell you any different, because the systems and strategies that I am sharing with you have worked for me and my company. And if they didn't, I wouldn't share them. I would not come on here and tell you, let's do the middleman strategy, and it doesn't work. Okay. When you do this, be thoughtful, be humble, do your research, and be professional. Call a subcontractor and have a conversation as a normal human being. Give them the address. Hey, let them look at the site from an aerial view on Google and say, hey, okay, this is a pretty large facility. Ask all the questions that you can ask. Do you offer net 30 terms? How are we going to pay you? Are you okay with us paying you 30 days from now? Your subcontractor might even have to take some documents and fill them out for you. Just be very clear on what you need them to do. And you're going to want to have some kind of CRM, like, to keep you organized. That's very important too. If you're writing things down on paper, you want to get a notepad or a CRM or something that can help keep you organized. Because if you're working on a bid in June and you're not awarded until August, you're probably working on a lot more bids up until that point. So you're going to have to go back to your CRM and you're going to have to look and say, okay, these are the companies that I talked to. Here are the updates. Here's the dates. Here's their phone number. And another thing, asking subcontractors, how long does the quote last? Because if you get a quote and it only lasts 2 days and you use that price to bid on, that's not going to be a good look. You can potentially lose money that way. You want to be very clear and say, hey, how long does this quote last? Does it last 30 days, 60 days? Does it last 24 hours? And if it's very short, you need to be clear. Hey, I need this quote to last a little bit longer. Subcontractors, they want the business. They know that the government pays on time. And they know that the government is the biggest purchaser. Some of them do, some of them don't. You might have to be a little clear with them. I have had subcontractors ask me straight out, is this a government contract? Sometimes I'm honest, sometimes I say no, because you never know who's going to bid. But that doesn't stop you from being absolutely amazing. Okay, there's going to be situations where someone else might be bidding on the contract as well, but it's very few far in between. You're not going to run into it often. Some bids, we'll go over that, are larger, so more people might bid on them, or more specific niche. But just be mindful that this can work out for you at any time. Okay? Fear, it does not exist. All right. You can hit one government contract and your entire life can change in 60 to 90 days. If you have your own LLC, I'm going to put systems. This is the system and strategy that is in place right here, right now, that I am sharing with you. It's the middleman strategy. That is the basic line of it. And there's another way to bid. We'll talk about that later in the week. But right now, we're talking about the connection between the subcontractor, the government, and you. That's the key piece to bring together to execute and win a contract. Okay, you can add a $30,000 margin, win a government contract, and if you do that 4 times, 2 times, you can make what you make in a yearly salary in 30 to 60 days. It is very real, it is very exciting, and it is very lucrative if you do it properly. Okay. And there's a strategy and a system, and I'm going to share all of that because someone shared it with me, and I am so blessed and grateful that I'm able to share it with you. I'm grateful to have you all here. My number one question for you, and you can leave a comment, is how much money is the max that you've ever made in 1 year? 1 year annual salary. What is the max number that you have ever made? Is it under 100K? You can even give me a direct number. Is it over 100K? How much have you made in 1 year max? All right, so I will see you tomorrow. This is Middleman Monday. I wanted to be quick, and get it out of the way and get this information up here. And tomorrow is going to be Teachable Tuesday, and we will talk about more topics. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Fear does not exist. It never has, and it never will. You are an overcomer. Whatever you are trying to overcome, it will work out for you. You are extremely blessed. I'm happy to be here to be able to share this strategy with you. Okay, so in the comments, I want you to put how much you have made, your biggest amount in a year annually. And we will talk soon. And please do not forget to live, laugh, load.